Good morning and namaste. How are you all today? Huh? Good. Do you travel a lot in wherever you are in India? Because as you see, all over India, there are different dance and theatrical forms. Today, we will talk about one of the such forms which is known in northern part of India. It is Nautanki or Swang, and it is best known form of theatrical entertainment in the northern part of India, especially Uttar Pradesh. Its popularity is so much so that the word has entered common vocabulary for anyone who is being a bit of drama, and drama queen is being called Nautanki Baz. Nautanki mat karo. There are two variations of the origin of the word Nautanki. One is based on the play about the Nautanki princess, who was as beautiful and delicate and light, weighing as much as a flower. Literally, Nautanki means nau, that is 9, tongue, that is the coin, that weighed approximately equivalent of just 4 grams. You see this? So, the pretty little princess, whose name became a folk theatre form, was said to weigh only 36 grams, Nautanki. The play on the Nautanki Shehzadi became so popular that the style of folk theatre came to be called Nautanki. According to another version, Nautanki refers to Nava Rasa, that is the 9 sentiments used in any performance. Nautanki has been defined by scholars as narrative in structure, operatic in style, and secular in spirit. It is the Nagada drum that heralds the arrival of Nautanki in the villages of North India, as it loudly beats and calls people to gather around to watch the popular form of theatre in Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan and Bihar. Nautanki that follows is always has loud, boisterous singing, vigorous dancing and sometimes a bit of loud, suggestive dialogues. But the story that is chosen as the theme is strong either from mythology or history or popular legends and ballads. There is a theory that the Nautanki originated from the tradition of Bhagat, which was a popular religious form of drama in especially Agra, Mathura and Vrindavan areas, as both forms are use similar music instruments, but dwell only or mainly on religious themes. Swang troops also find mention in some books as a paid performance of song and dance at festivals like Holi and Dasara. You can mark also here that almost in all these popular traditional folk forms, the arrival is heralded by the drum playing and loud drum playing. This was one way of announcing to the whole village that the performance has come. These popular folk forms, which resemble each other in most ways, have regional variants. What is called Nautanki in Uttar Pradesh may be called Manch in Madhya Pradesh and Khayal in Rajasthan and Swang in Punjab. All of them have a great emphasis on singing and are not devotional or majorly mythological in content. In fact, there is a decided move towards moving away from the epics to social, political and contemporary concerns. However, Bhagat, an older form, is based on themes about gods and goddesses, and there are many rituals linked to the performances. The musical instruments and the song style may be similar in Bhagat and Nautanki. Kanpur and Hathras are important centers of Nautanki and have evolved an individual style. In Hathras, which is a small sized town, the singing is most important, being high pitched and requiring expert musical skill, and the songs are complex and ornamental. The Kanpur style is less dependent on singing and more on drama. Correct diction and clarity of dialogue, delivery and the singing is simple. The famous akhada in Hathras were of Indarman and Natharam, where aspiring young actors came to learn dancing, singing and theatre from their seniors in Guru Shishya Parampara. Once they entered an akhada, they belonged to it for life. Nautanki scripts used to be printed and sold as people enjoyed drilling and play acting, and in fact there was more money made by the sale of printed literature of Nautanki than from the actual staging of the performance. The Kanpur style broke away from the prayer invocation in the beginning and instead had a chorus in which all actors participated. There were usually 10 to 12 people in the troupe. So popular was this format that the audience too began to sing along with the chorus. Most Nautanki artists are the children of Nautanki performers and learn from boyhood, learning while living among senior artists, and were trained in the akhada system. However, later there was a break from the akhada regime, and a good dancer or singer could join in a troupe later, and also additional actors were called in for certain performances. As far as the stories or themes are concerned, sometimes the word Sangeet denotes that the performance is Nautanki Sangeet. Indar Haran, a play on the abduction of Indal, the Sangeet Pati Bhakti, the drama of devoted life, and although the word Nautanki is commonly used while talking, it is not used in the titles or while advertising a performance or in the script. The themes are from the two epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, romantic stories as well as a lot of legends describing brave Rajput heroes, and stories from Persian and Arabic legends are found in Nautanki. The popular titles of Nautanki are the stories of the Rajput brothers, Allah Udal, the continued strife between Delhi and Kannauj cities, Laila Majnu, Shiri Farhad, Sultan Khuda Dost, and Bikhari or Bikharin or beggar woman, and Bahu Begum are some other popular stories besides the ever appealing Harishchandra, which speaks of a king who gives up everything in his adherence to his promise. There are a lot of themes which reflect the role of a faithful Indian man and woman. The story of Puranmal and his stepmother is a complex and heart-rending in the suffering. The problem of child marriages was centered to the Aankh Ka Jadoo, trick of the eye, and Sangeet Ketle Sauhar, Nautanki or murder of husband. Some themes like Khune Naya, based on the senseless massacre of Jallianwala Bagh, and Subhash Chandra Bose are based on the freedom movement. Mythological tales like Indra Sabha, Nala Damayanti, Rama Vanavas, Shravan Kumar, as well as heroic ones like Amar Singh Rathod, Tipu Sultan, Prithviraj Chauhan, Panna Devi, as well as Rashmi Rumal, Sultan Daku, Striya Charitra are eternal favorites in Nautanki. In recent years, contemporary directors have used the Nautanki to stage Sanskrit plays like Mricha Katikam. Nautanki can be on the occasion of a festival or during a wedding or in a village fair and is usually in an open air ground free for all, though these days it is more common to see Nautanki in a hall and is ticketed. The stage is simple and adorned and may at the most have a colorful painted backdrop. There are lights, electric panoramic lanterns, whatever is available for ambient illumination, but no lights to create effect or mood or focus. The stage in Khyal may have details like balcony and substage. However, Nautanki can be performed in a village square without any built stage at all. Historically, women and children were forbidden to attend Nautanki because of its risk reputation. In fact, women were not even supposed to hear the Nautanki songs from afar. The language of Nautanki dialogues is usually poetic Urdu with Braj Bhasha as well as other Hindi dialects often used for song items. However, it depends on the theme, the location of performance as well as the audience mix. When it started, Nautanki performance was made up entirely of songs and recitation of poetical narrations. It was only later that prose passages and short comic skits were added and dance is included. According to some, dancing is in Nautanki was better when it was men dressed as women who did the dancing. Women dancers who began to take part were not as adept in the pure dance. Films are usually blamed for the slow extinguishing of the folk forms and for replacing the Desi tradition of song and dance with filmy song, music and dance. But in case of Nautanki, it is interesting to see that a film did a lot to revive interest in Nautanki. The Hindi film Tisri Kasam, starring Raj Kapoor and Wahida Rehman, was released in 1966. It did a great deal to popularize Nautanki among people from cities who may have never seen a live performance earlier. The story was based on a novel by the famous writer Phanishwanath Renu, and it showed the life of a Nautanki dancer and the involvement of the viewers. How can anyone forget the songs Sajan Re Jhoot Mat Bolo and Paan Khaye Saiya? More recently, certain Nautanki artists have received modest recognition from the state. One actress, Gulabbai of Kanpur, was awarded a Sangeet Natak Academy Prize in 1984. In fairs like Surajkund Mela, Nautankis are watched with great interest and is also taught in modern schools of drama. In Nautanki, the main instrument is Nagada and is the main music source. There may be even one or two smaller Nagadas besides the main one. The loud continuous beats are an announcement that the play is about to begin. There is a harmonium or two besides a dholak and manjira or cymbals. The performance starts with a prayer or bint which may be addressed to Hindu gods or to the Allah or to the gods of all popular religions. Based on the theme of Nautanki and the majority of the audience, these prayers are selected. Music and song is the mainstay of Nautanki. Although there may be dialogues and people essentially come to hear the performance. The songs are interspersed and the mood and the meter highlighted by the Nagara tempo. The Nautanki is usually, it starts around midnight and goes on till the wee hours of the morning, and the audience sits on all sides of the stage. In traditional performances before microphones were available, the actors needed strong voices with good reach and strength, so they could perform not only for long hours, but also sing and speak their lines to each side of the sage to be loud and clear to all members of the audience. This style has sustained even after modern amplification methods are in use and is very characteristic of Nautanki and Swang. In Nautanki, the story is narrated and partly enacted by the main character. He is called Sutradhar. He is a kind of character called Ranga. So, Sutradhar is called Ranga. He gives the gist of the theme and also gives verbal cues to the characters. His vocal announcements, he coaxes the audience to imagine various scenarios and settings. In fact, the origin of folk theatres like Nautanki, In fact, the origin of folk theatres like Nautanki and Swang has been credited to the travelling bards. It is suggested that charans or singers who moved from town to town, village to village, singing and telling tales of yore as kathakars. As with most folk theatre forms, there is a meld of prose narration, songs that are sung and poems that are recited and dance. Also, doha, kavit, sehra, sortha are used beside the classical musical raga like sarang, bhupali, todi, lalit and bhairavi. So, here you can see there is a beautiful combination of dance, classical music and narration. Khayal of Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan is also known as Ramta. It has many similarities with Nautanki. It has several styles and subdivisions like the Mewari Khayal, Jaipuri Khayal, Kathawachak Khayal and Abhinay Khayal, with different emphasis on storytelling, acting, music, language and even the stage style, size and shape. As in most folk forms, it is the men who play the female characters. The humour is provided by Munshiji. The actors are trained in singing, dancing and declamation as in Akhada. Some of the themes chosen for Nautanki has been based on what is called the composite culture of India. This include the Amar Singh theme in Nautanki, which finds mention way back in 1912 under the joint authorship of Chiranji Lan and Natharam, both disciples of the Indraman and Sangi. Some scholars have commented on the revival, and in Amar Singh Ka Sakha was published by Hathras and Mathura in that year and was reprinted again and again year after year for decades up to 1980. So, the story is epic in length and character, and its structural patterns can be analyzed in a variety of ways. At its core are two bonds between Hindu and a Muslim, the Hindu in each case being Amar Singh himself. In the first, mutual respect and loyalty conjoined the Rajput and his Mughal master, the Emperor Shah Jahan, who relies on Amar Singh as his commander in chief and has a high regard for him like no other. In the research scholarly paper on revival of Nautanki, the song narrative style is reflected in the dialogue. शाहजहाँ says, जिस अमर सिंह के बल से मैं इस हिंद का सुल्तान बना, that Amar Singh whose might enabled me to become the Sultan of Hind. अफसोस सदा अफसोस उसको कर दोगा कि या फना. What a tragedy he has extinguished by treachery. ऐसे बहादुर शेर बिन कैसे तसल्ली आएगी. How can I be consoled at the loss of such a brave lion? जिस वक्त देखूं लाश को छाती मेरी फाट जाएगी. When I see his dead body, my chest will burst with grief. Nautanki and other such folk media are very important communication media in a country like India. The forms not only entertain but contributes to communal amity and harmony, as seen from the extract from the above the earlier version of Amar Singh, which speaks of the friendship between a Pathan and Rajput hero. Another example like is you can say Kasam Khudati Quran ki Quran kula fila. I swear by God and the Quran, I know now pledge my word. Pani piyasi ki din मैं कर दूँ ओ हला हल. I will prove my gratitude one day for the water that I drank. पानी करूँ नहला हथा कथा बेकी तरफत हूँ मैं तड़पत हूँ मैं. I will raise my hand toward Makkah. And such dialogues you find again and again in so many of the plays. According to Balwant Gargi in his folk media, he says that the folk media represents the people in their natural habitat with all their contradictions and multifarious activities. It gives a glimpse of their style of speech, music, dance, dress and wisdom. It contains a rich store of mythological heroes, medieval romances, chivalry tales, social customs, beliefs and legends. In order to understand the colorful diversity and unity of India, it is important to see the folk theatre in its natural settings. The Uraj region of Uttar Pradesh since ancient times was the center of theatrical activities. In the quiet North Indian night, the sound of Nagada drum summoned the spectator to the performance Nautanki, a musical play. In town or village, the clatter of the drums is necessary to announce that a performance is about to take place, for the sound of the Nagada carries for miles through the night air. Nautanki has been for decades the most popular form of musical theatre in the northern regions of India, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar and especially in Uttar Pradesh, and it is of mass entertainment. This form derived its name from the name of the heroic story Shahjadi Nautanki, which became very popular. It was popular in the 19th century and evidence strongly suggests that it was closely related Sonar and Bhagat. It is characterized by lusty singing and spirited dancing. It is sometimes loud and sometimes slightly disreputable. The language is the regional dialect and the tunes are unsophisticated folk melodies. Nautanki plays have a strong storyline. They draw on great epics, popular legends, historical events, popular folklore, contemporary society and original sources. They are narratives in structure, operatic in style and secular in spirit. The narrator called Ranga is the master of the trouble, acting as stage director, stage manager and formatter. He controls everything of the play. Following familiar rituals, he informs spectators that they are going to see a particular story and the dramatic action commences. He links diverse elements of the plot together. He controls the exits and the entrances of the actors, the rhythm and tempo of the play. Through his comments and narration, he maintains the unity and thread of the plot and avoids irrelevant parts of the story. A typical company consists of 10 to 12 actors. Actors are generally various lower caste of people. It has its stock character buffoon who caricatures and lampoons person in authority. While the main action of the play is expressed in words, the buffoon speaks in parades. Nautanki is performance on various according to accordingly and in diverse settings. Diverse settings. The sound of the Nagara can be heard and it is performed on the religious festivals, religious and secular fairs and weddings and other social ceremonies, and also during slack periods in the agricultural season. It is established virtually anywhere in open space of a village, in a farmer's field, in the courtesy of a patron, in an enclosed proscenium theatre or under a tent. But Nautanki performances today commonly occur in large tents and closed halls. Performances for private occasions such as wedding may be held within the grounds of the host resident or in the nearby space. The stage is usually simple, raised rectangular wooden platform of 4 or 5 feet height. The spectator takes their seats on 3 sides of the impromptu stage. There is no curtain. The fourth side is used as a green room for the actors, and the orchestra men usually sit on a low platform stage. The acting space may be very considerably small and depend on the resource of the company. The lighting has few subtleties. Bare electric light bulbs hang above the stage in plain view where electricity is not available. Patromex reassured lamps are used. The play begins with the entry of the musicians. They play, and the orchestra, which comprises percussion, a dhol drum, other wind and string instruments. There is the nagara, the kettle drum played with strings, the sarangi, a clarionet, and today an inevitable harmonium. An invocation is sung first. It is invariably in praise of the deity like Shiva or Saraswati. This portion is known as the Baint, and it is following by the entry of the stage manager, the counterpart of Sutradhara, the Vyas and the Swami. The stage manager sings out the story of the play and introduces the characters. The actors make their entrance on and begin to perform their parts. Dancing is a common feature of Nautanki. It is done by the female artists. The performances usually begin about 11 o'clock at night and goes on through the early hours of the morning. The actors of Nautanki belong to the institutions known as akhadas, where they are trained in singing, dancing and even wrestling. Most Nautanki performers probably begin their training early in life. Drawn from different sections of society, the actors don't belong to a particular strata and they are all professionals. Two styles of Nautanki dominate today. The style of Hathras is regarded as the elder and was popularized by Indarman, his pupil Natharam, in the 19th century. Artists of the Hathras style sing in a high pitch. Ranakpur has shaped the second style of Nautanki. It was greeted by Sri Krishna Kathalvan after 1913. Ranakpur style singing is in a lower pitch. With the century of women perforated for the 1930s, the predominantly male audience demand action and dances, which are somewhat provocative. Enthusiastic patrons make donations of money to the singers during the performance. The stage manager announces the donor name to the public, indicating how much he gave to the player. Today, Nautanki players can afford it, but it is very difficult for them to survive in the society in which films dominate the mass entertainment, as well as the bad influence of the film music spoils its pure tradition. So, please all of you go and see a Nautanki if possible. Thank you. Namaste.